Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Diana, and today I'm going to continue the series on the 12 houses. I know you guys haven't, seen a lot of content from me, but I have been working on a lot of astrology the past few months because I do want to get certified to be able to provide readings for you, and I've been trying to figure out what I'm going to do with my website and a whole bunch of other things. But on top of that, the most important thing is, if you guys didn't catch it in my previous video, that I am pregnant. I am expecting a little Pisces baby sometime at the end of February or March. We'll see. So that's also, been taking up a lot of my energy, I guess, because I'm really tired. And for all of you Aries rising people out there, like, we are getting freaking like nailed by the planets. Actually, all of the cardinal ascendants, like, we're all like getting nailed. So I've just been doing that, but today I'm gonna talk about the 11th house. Thank you guys for waiting so patiently. So what is the 11th house? The 11th house comes after your 10th house, which is your career. So it's really an important asset to your career, your purpose. It's the house of your hopes and dreams, groups of people where you feel like you belong and you share ideas and connections with like-minded individuals. The 11th house is networking, it's friends, it's the Uranus house of freedoms. And in all honesty, the 11th house is a super selfless house. I mean, it's opposite of the 5th house, which is me and what I want and what I create. But the 11th house is what we want, what's good for the collective consciousness, what we can create together, if we connect all of our energies. So with people in the 11th house, it's really awesome because they are able to receive messages from the universe, and the universe tells them what's better for their groups of friends, for their community, for the whole universe. Sometimes that's why you see a lot of people with focus in the 11th house become leaders, like even politicians, because in one way or another they can change the world. So if the 11th house planets receive bad aspects, then maybe they'll change the world for the worse. But for the majority of people, they have these great, brilliant ideas that really help masses of people. An extreme amount of selflessness because you're helping the world. A lot of people with focus in the 11th house, like I said, can be politicians, but they can also be leaders of their churches, leaders of whatever group they decide to get into. If it's like a cult, if it's masonry, they become leaders, and they're able to like network within that group of like-minded individuals. So people with focus, like people with strong 11th houses, really need to find their clan, and they need to be listeners, and their 11th house people are really good observers. They know what humanity needs, they know what their friends need, they know what the underdogs need. They are good at like spotting in flaws in society. So let's get started by talking about the sun in the 11th house. So the sun represents your ego. It's what you define yourself as. It's it shines up and it lights up whatever house it is in. For a lot of people with their sun in the 11th house, they're gonna develop their ego through connecting with other people that share their similar thoughts and ideas. They are going to be able to relate to different kinds of people. Their ego is pretty selfless, you can say, or their identity, they know that their identity is very selfless. So a lot of the times growing up, they may have spent their lives observing what people need, what groups of people need, what things can make a group better. And up until they find that group that really connects with them like that, their ego, they kind of will feel sad. They feel like they don't belong if they're not using all of these messages and signals that they get from the universe for good. So with the sun in the 11th house, you know, there is a way, these people have a way about them where they can find something to connect with everybody. So they can be friends with anybody, is what I'm trying to say. And they really even can become leaders within the groups that they're in, because people will follow them. Like the sun is gonna attract so much people to you, so much valuable people to you within the 11th house. So you just have to make sure that you don't develop like a God complex, or you're not spreading messages that are not for the greater good. With the moon in the 11th house, the moon in the 11th house is gonna make you very attached to the friends that you have. So a lot of the times you're not going to feel comfortable maybe having loads of friends, but the few friends that do come into your life, you're going to put their needs before yours. You know, you're going to be uncomfortable if something is wrong with your friend. And also the moon in the 11th house, you're going to have an emotional need to help the world, but it's kind of going to weigh heavy on your heart if you're not able to make a huge impact to where you see a collective change in your church or in your PTA meetings or wherever, you know, your niche is. It's going to hold a lot of weight. So the other thing with the moon in the 11th house is that you're uncomfortable with the status quo, honestly. Like your soul and your heart feels like you need to be individual, and everybody needs to be their own individual self, where when you see people grouping together with what's expected and not being their true individual selves, you don't want to take no part in that. So sometimes you're going to rather be a loner because you don't want to be like that. The 11th house is selfless, and it's not really you, because that would be more the 5th house of your needs. You can remain really detached with the moon in the 11th house because you really don't know what your needs are, since all your life you spent, you know, observing and taking in what other people in this world need for huge changes. So you're kind of detached because you're looking at a worldly picture, not what you need. Moon in the 11th house, this is also a great position for charity work, humanitarian work, people who really put themselves aside and take care of puppies, children, even, you know, women, because the moon is feminine. So let's talk about Mercury in the 11th house. So Mercury in the 11th house does well because the 11th house is an air house, and Mercury is what, the social networker. It's the, you know, it can be the chatterbox, it's your mind, it's how you communicate. So with in the 11th house, you're definitely going to have a lot of different types of friends. You're probably going to be in a lot of different types of groups. You're going to have social networking down. You're probably going to really be into technology, or, you know, just expanding who you talk to. There's no stopping you with Mercury in the 11th house, because Mercury moves kind of quick. So you're just all about learning and listening to new ideas, but you also want your brilliant, eccentric ideas to be heard. A lot of the times in fearing groups, if you're at a church, or you're just you're in a PTA meeting, or, you know, you're in the occult, masonry, whatever, you're going to be the speaker. You're going to be able, the ideas that the collective consciousness brings you, or the ideas that the universe brings you, are going to be really well spoken with Mercury in the 11th house. You're going to be the voice for a lot of the underdogs and a lot of people that need your help. This is a beautiful, selfless voice that the universe is giving you with Mercury in the 11th house. And on top of that, you're highly intelligent and you're just like super, super clever. 11th house. Venus in the 11th house is also fun because it makes you a social butterfly. And it makes you really love and value helping people. It helps you, you know, it may be through helping people like with beauty, or helping people selflessly, you know, feel better about themselves, and giving like strangers compliments. It's very charming, and you're going to be very charming in whatever group you decide to go into, or even in high school. You're definitely going to be a social butterfly. You may also like to date, and you get like a lot of pleasure from dating all types of people. So sometimes like committed relationships are not like really for like, you just want to explore and, you know, learn about humans, about people, and figure out what people need. A life partner that wants to do the same thing with you. And a lot of the times with Venus in the 11th house, your partnerships and your love life comes through friendships first. Like friendships are a priority. Like relationships can come after, and maybe a lot of relationships, so that you can learn about people, because that's so interesting. So a lot of the times Venus in the 11th house, like I said, you'll be surrounded in groups that involve females or involve beauty, fashion, a way that you can help society through that. So let's talk about Mars. Okay, Mars in the 11th house. Mars is aggression, drive. It's your passions, and how, you know, how much energy do you have to pursue things. So with Mars in the 11th house, you have so much drive to change the world, like so much, and it's like built up inside, and you like notice like flaws in groups right away, that it's instinctive for you to say something or do something about it. The problem is that you can become really pushy, and your message isn't really received well. It's received with anger and aggression. So a lot of people can kind of come back at you and want to fight you for your ideas or your thoughts. But once you learn to kind of deliver your messages with a little bit more diplomacy and grace, you're the one with any placement in the 11th house that can actually drive change. You'll have energy to keep going. You'll be able to draw people to you because of your energy. So with Mars in the 11th house, just make sure that all that drive and passion doesn't come off as anger. It comes off as like, we have to do something, as passion. And you relay that to people, and people are drawn to you because of that. Be argumentative about your beliefs, about your political beliefs, about, you know, what you think should be done in a group. You can really be a person that, you know, confronts government when they see something wrong that's not beneficial to society. You really stand up for that. In the 11th house, you need to be a leader within groups. You can't feel like you feel like everybody else won't be as passionate or as driven to make changes like you. In the 11th house, I kind of relate to this because in Vedic astrology and in the equal house system, I have Saturn in the 11th house. So Saturn in the 11th house is it's a strong placement. It's just at a young age, you may have felt like you were a weirdo and you couldn't really be part of a group because nobody really accepted you. So as a result, or you may have been bullied. So as a result, like later in life, you overcompensate and you do things to draw friends into your life. And it's almost like you get too selfless, where friends come along and kind of take advantage of you because you put yourself in a position where you feel responsible for taking care of your friends. Like you're like the mother or father of your friends. So when your friends get into shitty situations, you're the one that's there for them. So it's kind of like you know, you feel like you feel like you won't have any friends unless you do that. So you're restricted almost inside of yourself and feeling like you can build friendships or find somebody who is like-minded. So here, one of Saturn's lessons, I guess, would be is to value your individual self and realize that the people who, you know, are going to be in your life are going to be, once you're yourself, are going to be there because you're your authentic self. It's trying to find your authentic self and stop, you know, being the doormat for your friend. And also with Saturn in the 11th house, since the 11th house supports the 10th house, a lot of the times you feel like in your career and what you hope to be in life, you feel like nobody really supports that, or it's harder for you to get where you want to be because you kind of have to do it alone. In the 11th house. So this is also a really selfless position. You have compassion for people who are needy. You have compassion for people who, you know, aren't doing really good in this life, whether it be, you know, kids that are starving, dogs, or animals that need you. Even your friends in your, you know, close groups, you're gonna want to help them, and you're not gonna care how much it costs you. You may even like be someone who, you know, gets all their money from this career that they're succeeding in, but selflessly just gives it to people who really need it. Or, you know, you may be also this person who helps people through art or photography or some Neptunian area to find their light and change the world that way. Also with Neptune in the 11th house, a lot of your friends, like I said, are going to be needy. They may be like they may be friends that are very Neptunian, maybe into drugs or something that you always have to rescue them for, and you probably will want to rescue them. Or, you know, it's even very spiritual, you know, dreamy, artistic groups that you put yourself into. Uranus in the 11th house. So when Uranus is in the 11th house, it's in its natural house, right? So this is kind of like gonna bring, I guess, the unexpected within groups and, you know, hopes and dreams. When Uranus is here, you really can't control what happens in your life. Like, unexpected things are gonna happen. You're gonna get unexpected messages on how to help the world. You're gonna probably become friends with people that you didn't even think you'd be friends with. And you're gonna definitely hate the status quo. You're probably gonna question or get some type of adrenaline in making change for how things are, and you may want to break like the structure that we've all been in, do things erratic and spontaneous once in a while, just get bursts, or sometimes there's days of your life where you feel like you just have to make changes and make changes now, and it's going to be a whole lot of energy built up. Uranus in the 11th house, I think it's definitely going to call for a brilliant person who, if they really act and listen to their ideas, can make huge unexpected changes, and I bet these ideas are going to come out of nowhere. Okay, so let's talk about Pluto in the 11th house. Pluto is the planet of power, transformation. So when it's in the 11th house, you're going to get a lot of your power from groups, and your energy is going to be almost like magnetizing to people, and they're not going to be able to point their finger on if you're trying to help society for the better or for the bad, because just there's going to be something secretive about you when you join these groups. Maybe you're not a person who lays out all their ideas and kind of is very calculative on what they're going to say and what they're going to put out there. Also with Pluto, you may be in groups that are part of the occult. You may be in groups that have to do with, like, you know, astrology or something secretive. A secretive group for sure with Pluto in the 11th house. So that was my video, guys, for the 11th house. I hope you guys enjoy it. Please subscribe. Again, my name is Diana, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.